What's up, pretty gang? It's your favorite nail tech, Peaches. Welcome back to my channel. And y'all see how pretty this set is? I finally got some Coffin nails for you guys. I actually did this for my cousin's cousin for her junior prom. She's in 11th grade, and this is what she wanted to go ahead with. I thought it came out really pretty. We did have an inspo pic, but she never sent it to me like after she left, so I don't really have the inspiration pic for you, unfortunately. But I thought it was really cute that the French tip glowed, and then I just wanted to provide you guys with another angle of my work. No lumps, no bumps, okay? So before we go ahead and get into this video, let's do our connections. Our subscriber of the day goes to Queen Bee, and of course, you guys, subscribe, turn on them damn notifications, because if your notifications are off, how would you know when I'm on? Like, I know I've been slacking this week. Okay, I took a few days off. You know, a bitch need to rest the hands. I need to rest. I just need to rest. I have family coming in town, and yeah. So this glitter is a custom made glitter. If you guys didn't know, which you should know by now, I have about 30 plus custom glitters that I have. The blue is not polished. It's called Narcos. It is a glow in the dark color. And you feel me? Because if it's not polished, it's not what? It's not nothing. And actually, if it's not polished, it really is me, because I'm the one making custom colors. This nude is also custom made by me. And what else? We got Young Nails Liquid and Young Nails Core Clear, because I'm a Young Nails girl, like, duh, obviously. So this video is very long. You guys said you wanted some longer videos. Fortunately for y'all, I do have this longer video for you. So it's really gonna focus on, because we do have so many different elements. We're working with glitter, we're working with dark color, we're working with nudes, we're working with French, ombre. I really want to show you guys in real time the order of operations that I do things, okay? And I'm going to talk about the, I don't want to say mistakes that I made, but things that I could have did to make the process not necessarily go smoother, because it's a long process regardless when you're doing sets with ombre and French, because you gotta let, like, certain stuff has to dry before you go to the next step, or you're going to be there forever and it's just going to be causing problems, okay? So yeah, I'm basically going to talk you guys through what I could have done, or what you guys should do, especially if you're a beginner, because there's certain stuff as a beginner that you shouldn't do. Like, yeah, you might see me do it, but it's because I know how to finesse it. I know how to work around it. But as a beginner, that would be something that I would say, like, listen, boo, you can avoid the hassle, okay? So this particular French tip, I decided to, because it's a coffin nail, you need to go with a more narrow, more oval shape for the smile line. Well, I mean, I guess you don't have to, but I recommend that, because otherwise you won't be able to see a lot of color. I don't personally like when the smile line is so wide that you only see color on the tip of the nail. I like when the color is extended up into the nail beds, which is why you see me, you know, adjusting the smile line on the sides. I feel like it just looks better. It looks more natural, I guess. And I just, you know, when you go in shape, you're going to get rid of some of that color. You're going to file some of that color away, making the coffin narrow. So just to avoid that, you want to go ahead and just leave some of that space on the sides in the cuticle area, okay? I promise it's not going to look dumb. You're going to be glad you did it. So this nail is actually taking a little longer, because on this particular set, excuse me, I've been playing around with how I lay acrylic in my apex areas. I'm kind of like changing the shape of my apex in a way. I'm just, you know, using different techniques. Like, sometimes you get it and you're like, let me try something this way, just to see if I get like a more nicer result. I really want my cuticle area to be super duper flush and look a certain way. Ooh, you see that side profile view? Like, come on now. So that's why it's taking me a little longer. I'm just kind of playing around with my technique. You know, every so often I do that, I get a better result, and then I'm like, ooh, yes, I'm happy with that, okay? So the first thing is first, what I would recommend is doing all of the French tips, because those have to be completely dry before you move on. So normally, if this was a you know, all 10 French, I would do all 10 smile lines, but it's not. So you're gonna see me working on the other hand, so that I can make sure both of these will be dry by the time I need to move on, okay? How do I explain this? You don't have to do both on one hand, you know, both on each hand at once, because there is a risk that the client might, you know, bump the other hand when you're not looking. Now you got two wet things on, you know, two different hands. But finishing one hand first in this instance, it may like the guide for your French and for the smile line may be thrown off, because if I were to put the blue on top like later on and just finish off that hand, it's gonna be a little misleading for the other hand, because now the smile line is gonna be somewhat covered by the tip color, and it's gonna be hard to judge like where's my smile line at. Okay, so when it comes to designs where it's like, oh, there's only 2, or oh, there's only 4, you know, Frenches, I just do 1 on each hand, so I have like the guide is set, so that way whenever I'm ready to shape my smile line, I got it covered. Okay, so if you do need extra help with doing French tip, you can go ahead and view some of my videos. I do have a good amount of videos for French tip, hand drawn as well as acrylic. You can do a hand drawn French as well if you don't want to take the time to do it this way, but I really wanted to use this particular nude in the ombre and the French because I feel like this pinkish nude looks really good against this dark blue. But if you want to do hand drawn, go ahead and do the hand drawn. I just don't have a dark blue this type of shade in polish. Okay, oh, at least not at the moment. Okay, so go ahead, knock the French out. Right now, what you should do next, you're gonna go back to that original hand you're working on. Right, you're gonna knock out all the nude. So on this particular set, the pinky and the thumb is nude. Okay, so just do that. Now, the reason I personally didn't is because we also have ombre and we'll be introducing glitter. Now, it's kind of tricky because you should, as a beginner, you should do the nude first, because you do not want your monomer to get tinted with any of the dark blue. You don't want too much loose glitter in your liquid, because that's what happens when you work with glitter. There's no avoiding it. Glitter is gonna get mixed in with your liquid, right? So get the nude out of the way. However, the dilemma is, because I'm also doing ombre and I need that tip color to be dry as well, right? Kind of have to do ombre as well next. So what I decided to do to like solve that dilemma, and if you are more an intermediate or advanced tech to where you can kind of finesse around the glitter, right? Because as a beginner, it is hard to work with glittery liquid when all the rest of the colors are light or plain. All right, this is what you do. If you're intermediate or advanced, is what you'll do. Get one of the nude nails out of the way. So you're gonna see, I know I'm working on this French tip for a while, but like I said, I'm trying a new technique, so it's taking me a little bit longer because I'm really focusing on that apex area. Okay, so I'm kind of really taking my time, but again, I want to keep it real time because I want to keep it real with y'all, right? So like I was saying, what you're gonna do if you're intermediate to advanced, you are going to do one of the nude nails. So I went ahead, I did the pinky because that one's going to be showing the most. So I figured, okay, let's get that nude out the way, because the last thing I want is glitter in the nail that shows. When you take your pictures, you're going to definitely see those 4 front facing fingers. Less likely to see the thumb, because you know the thumb, she in a world by herself. I went ahead and did the pinky, and then I went ahead and laid the glitter for both ombres. The reason why I did it that way is because, as you can see, my liquid is getting low anyways, right? So once I do the pinky, there will be even less liquid, and I'll be able to do those 2 glitter nails, and I'll need to refill my liquid. So at that point, right, if you're in, I'm going to throw beginners in this too as well. I'm sorry, I'm going back and forth. But if you can tell that you're in a place where your liquid is low enough that you know how much liquid you're going to use if you're advanced or intermediate, which is why I said that's more for you. But as a beginner, if you're getting very low to the bottom and you're using glitter, do not refill it if you don't have to. All right, do not refill your liquid if you're about to work with glitter unless you have to. All right, and the reason is because you're gonna be able to wipe out your dapping dish, okay, and then you'll be able to work as normal and you won't get glitter mixed in. Now you can see right here, I am going ahead and I'm doing the application for this pinky nail. I mean, not pinky, I'm sorry, this is a ring finger. I apologize, you guys. I don't know why I thought it was the pinky the whole time, probably because I couldn't see the pinky in front. But we're gonna go ahead and do this as just a regular application. All right, and then we are going to move into doing the ombre. Once again, if you're a beginner, I do not I recommend just go ahead and do the just go ahead and do all the nude first on that hand. So do both the nude fingers, and then after the nude is done, go ahead and just lay that glitter. But if you're intermediate to advanced, you know what works the best, okay? You know certain things have to dry, so it makes it less stressful later. Unfortunately, if you're a beginner, you kind of just have to learn, and it's kind of like, if you know, you know. Or actually, when you know, right? The exception to the rule is if your liquid is low like mine is, go ahead and do the glitter first. Or whatever the ombre is, even if it's a dark color, whatever that difficulty is, get it out of the way because it needs to dry. On sets like these, it's all about order of operations, and you might struggle and you might have a hard time, and that's okay. All right. So if you're gonna do the glitter ombre first, right? The good thing about that, I mean, if you're gonna do the nude nails first, right? The good thing about that is once you do your ombre, yeah, you need them to dry, but you still have to file your smile lines on your French. So that will give you a little bit of time to allow them to dry. Don't worry if dust gets on like the ombre part, you'll be able to work around that, okay? Because you still have to lay the cuticle color. So I would suggest going ahead and just filing your smile lines, because then you'll be able to complete that hand, right? So I know this video is like really long. I know some of you guys like when I talk through the whole thing. Some of you probably just want to watch it just to watch it. So this might end up being a hybrid video because, like I said, it is in real time. So I think what I'm gonna do is, we'll see, but dang, now we're about to, I was gonna say like, oh, I'll come back when you're putting on the glitter, but now that I'm kind of looking, we're about to put on glitter. So it's kind of like, dang, I'd be trying so hard not to talk through the entire video, but it's like I just look ahead and I remember like my thinking at the time, different things, and I just be finding different things that I could help y'all with or tell y'all about. You see what I'm saying? So I'm sorry, I am such a motor mouth, but I can't help it. I'm sorry, you guys. I try really hard not to just talk. I've gotten even some comments like, why you gotta talk to the video? But most of the comments are like, wow, so helpful, so educational. Like, oh no. So you let me know in the comments. Comment down below, motor mouth with a heart, because you feel me, that's what I am. So again, I'm sorry, the application is taking a really long time, but I am trying something a little bit different. It might not look different to y'all, but it is, okay? It's just the way that I'm laying my acrylic, the way that I'm tucking things. I'm basically setting my apex I don't want to say not as far back, but like a little bit. I'm pushing it a little bit more forward, basically, just slightly. So I'm just adjusting that to see if I'm getting the look that I like. And so far, you know, I like it, and I just want to make sure that everything is nice and together. Her prom is not for a couple of days. Like, her prom is actually May 7th. She got her nails done on May 1st, I think, or 2nd. So, you know, I want to make sure her nails is not gonna break, you know what I'm saying? So that's why we gotta add the right amount of acrylic, okay? All right, let's see. It looks like we're about to lay the glitter down. Now, see, you can see my liquid is low, so I'm gonna be okay to do this, because the glitter that's gonna be in my jar, in my dapping dish, it's gonna just sink literally to the bottom, and it's gonna be all glitter, but it's fine because I'm doing all glitter right now anyways. Now, this is a custom made glitter. I call this glitter Berry Blue. I made this in 2020, right? I made literally like 30 plus glitters because I didn't have anything better to do when I was not doing nails. When COVID really first hit, I thought I was about to be selling all these glitters, and literally nobody wanted these glitters. So they are not for sale or anything, but you know, maybe one day people will actually fuck with me enough for me to be able to like branch out and do stuff. But as of now, people don't really, it's not really like that, okay? So you can see my glitters are made with a lot of clear, and the coloring in the background that you see is just due to the glitter. Like, the glitters that I use and mix, that's what makes the color pigmented. And I just use really nice quality glitters, especially for the chunkiness. So I'm just kind of placing and choosing where I'm laying some of the chunky glitters, because I don't want the background to be too clear, but I also don't want this to be too thick or anything. So if I see an area that seems like it's gonna be very see-through, I just go ahead and place some chunkier sequins, basically, to get the look that I like. And I think it works out really good. Okay. I know some people like to just lay down clear and use loose glitter, and that's fine too. Or like they like to take a bead of clear and dip it in a loose glitter, which is fine. I just personally feel like it's easier to use pre-mixed glitter, just personally because it's less hassle. Like the glitters already come in with the acrylic, you know what I'm saying? So this is a really pretty blue acrylic, and luckily, like when she showed me the picture, the dark blue, I had like literally the perfect color, so I was like so juiced about that, because I'm like, girl, this is gonna be so cute, this is gonna be fine, la da da, wow. So you guys know with ombres, I pretty much extend it almost all the way to the cuticle area. It makes for an easier blend. And when I'm doing sequins, you guys already know, sequins, glitters, etc., that's being ombreed, I put the thinnest layer of clear, because otherwise, if you don't do this, you might find that your nude color or whatever your ombre color is going to not blend down evenly. It's going to get caught between those sequins and things because it is rough and it is uneven. Okay, so I went back to do the thumb, right? I told y'all to do both ombres. That's what you're supposed to do. Now this is why I'm saying, like, I did like some things I didn't do right, but like because I'm a little more advanced, I can finesse around the glitter and all that things. You don't want to do this. You want to just knock out both of those glitter nails and then go back to this, right? Because they're gonna dry as I'm doing this. I really don't know why I did it like this. I think it's because the thumb was just there, and I knew the amount of liquid I had would be enough to do all three things. So I just kind of figured, like, let me just knock this out. But realistically, don't do this, because you're gonna be picking glitter out of your nude, like as you're laying the acrylic down. You're like, and then you see I got glitter on my paper towel. Like, it can just be a nightmare if you don't know how to work around this. I personally don't see it as too much of a nuisance to like pick out random glitters from my application, and I just don't dip too deep into my liquid jar, my dapping dish, because otherwise I will pick up random glitters. So I don't normally track a whole bunch of stuff with my brush. Like, I can clean out the glitters pretty well, whatever, but it can be a nuisance. If you don't know how to do that and you don't know how to finesse it, you're gonna get annoyed and you're gonna be like, why did I do this? And like, literally, it's gonna be just such a nuisance. So yeah, this is one of the mistakes that I kind of made. And I'm also gonna talk about a mistake that I made when I was doing the ombre for the glitter nails. I really just went all out of order, because then I decided at one point in time, I decided to do the dark blue on the French tip before I went back to the nude to do the ombre. And it's like, that's too many hopping back and forth between different types of colors and things. Like, you're gonna end up tinting your monomer, or your light colors are going to, like, your brush is gonna track like the darker color. So when you dip into the liquid, it's like, and then you dip into the nude, there's gonna be dark mixed with the nude, and you're gonna be irritated, and your color is gonna be slightly tinted. It's just not fun. Okay, so the order of operations that I did in this video is incorrect, which is why I'm stressing to you guys, you will have a lot less stress if you're a beginner if you don't just go by what logically makes sense, if that makes sense. Like, yeah. So, you know, see, what do they call that? I don't know, what is that called when you like, oh, not lead by example, but like, I don't know what I'm trying to say, you know, where you like, someone's like, oh, do what I say, not what I do, I guess. There we go. So let me see here, we're about to be done with the thumb, and let's see what we go ahead to do with next. Let's see. Okay, so I went back to the other glitter nail, right? Which is pointless. I don't know. I literally don't know why I do this. Because you can see I filled up my liquid again, which I told you guys, like, don't be filling up your liquid if you know you're not done with the glitter. Like, just rock it out until you absolutely have to. Did I fill up my liquid? Oh, I guess I didn't. I can't see. Hold on, let me see when I dip it in there. Nope, I didn't. Okay, good. I thought I filled up my liquid jar, but I guess I didn't. It's kind of hard to tell here. But yeah, so we're moving on to this next glitter nail, and I guess everything worked out fine. Now, what I will say is, when you're using glitters that are mixed with acrylic, do not use large beads, which is why I use like a small bead, spread it how I spread it, and then I fill in the gaps with various glitters out of the jar, because otherwise you can cause the nail to be like very thick. So when you go to ombre, if you don't get a smooth ombre like right off the bat, you're gonna have to keep putting product and then build up the apex, and you can end up with a really thick nail by the time it's time to cap your nail. So just beware of that, okay? Because that kind of did happen a little bit. You'll see when I'm doing my application with my ombre, because it is very hard to ombre with dark blue, especially when you're using a lighter nude color. So do not be discouraged if it does not ombre correctly or nicely the very first swipe, because honestly, I still, like, even for me, not because it's like, okay, doing a glitter ombre is already can be difficult, but doing it with a light nude color, it's just like, wow. And then it's a dark color, like, child, it's a lot. So I think where I was headed next, why I did the dark blue French tip instead of just hopping into the ombre, right? Because I could have did the ombre for, oh, that's why. Okay, so I added more glitters because I saw it was too clear, and I think that's what stopped me from doing the ombre, because otherwise, realistically, I would have did the ombre on this finger, and when this was done, I would have went back to the pinky and then did that dark blue tip very, very last. That's what I would have done to at least redeem myself for not finishing off the glitter and just going with the thumb, right? So my thinking was, okay, I just laid this acrylic on the pointer finger, okay? I don't want to go ahead and ombre just yet, because if I mess up or anything, it's going to knock those glitters around, get attached to my brush, and I didn't want to have those problems. So instead, I chose having the problems of using dark and then trying to immediately use something light, okay? Which, like I said, not always fun. So I figured, like, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this, right? So I think I filed the smile line on both hands to keep it consistent, same shape, same size type thing. And then I still went ahead and laid the acrylic down when I could have used this time to allow the acrylic to dry on the pinky, knock out the nude, and then do the blue, and then do the French tip. You know what I'm saying? Like, put the color down. I didn't do that. And it's probably because this was a quicker process than what I had thought. Okay. So this is why I stress, there's like, doing nails is so much more than just like, hey, let me slap some stuff on. There is an order of operations that sometimes really is important. Okay. I also don't recommend filing over wet paper towels that you're potentially going to use to wipe your brush off of, because now you're just going to have dust mixed on top of your things. But you know, we clearly know on this channel that I don't always do things, I don't want to say the best way. Like I said, I still do nails like in a more older fashioned way, as far as like my, like, you know, I really don't use very many products. I kind of stick to the, I don't even know, like, just make it make sense. Like, obviously this is not a good use of common sense, but I was like, I'm about to be done with this paper towel anyways, I'm just gonna use it for glitter and that's it, la la la, whatever, right? So it's really important that you get your Frenches very, very symmetrical as possible, because what we don't want is a uneven French tip on any nail, but especially a coffin nail, because that just looks ugly. So yeah, so I guess I still was like, oh, this is not dry enough, so I went ahead and did what I did. Okay, so at this point, I just want to make sure that everything is good to go so I can move on to the other hand. All right, you guys have seen me do French tip a lot of times. You already know that I like to just do the entire tip and then push the rest of the, you know, like push the rest of the product up into those sidewalls and in that cuticle area, because I feel that French tip looks so much better when you extend it up into the cuticle area, because then you actually have color on the sides and not just at the tip. I feel like it looks kind of funny at the tip, but I understand some people do struggle with that. That was something that I used to struggle with doing French tip was having a very bulky smile line area to the point of like, okay, sometimes I can see the color up there, sometimes not. So that's just something you're gonna have to work on personally with adjusting your smile lines and like not being scared to try it a different way. Okay, so I'm just trying to apply this blue as neatly as I possibly can as far as blue application goes. Dark blue can be a hassle. You guys already know I always say white, black, red, dark blues, and neons can be very tricky because we need to get the strength because this is our sidewalls, right? But we also need to make sure that it doesn't get all over her skin or your client's skin, so that way we can actually have a nice and neat look at the end. And she's not gonna be leaving with blue all over the place. So yeah, you can see it just fits nice and snug in there. And then I just go ahead and make my adjustments as needed. And keep in mind, you do not need the tip to be as thick as the smile line. I repeat, if you do that, you are going to be so hurt when you have to go ahead and file that thick ass nail down to regular size, and then you realize, wow, the whole smile line does not even have to be the same thickness as the tip because it's only that thick so we can actually build a shelf to put it around as well as have a nice apex. So yeah, don't be fooled. French tip is not easy when you're first learning it. So hey, I understand if you do get fooled, but just don't be, okay? But this color combo on this French is super pretty. I really love it. This is the second time I've done this color combo for French. Well, actually, no, she didn't get a glow in the dark blue. She got a shade down from this blue. One of my other clients, and she got some short square ones. If you guys follow me on Instagram at Nailsbyprettyface, you know which set I'm talking about because it is posted on my page, actually. So we like to keep that shape. You know, with Coffin, you want to keep your shape as much as possible, okay? So it's okay if blue gets on the nude. You guys, I'm so sorry. I'm so tired. It's okay if blue gets on the nude. It will be fought off later, but just let's not lay it on too thick because you're going to be hurt if you lay on that nude like, oh, it doesn't matter. I used to do that. Like, I'm going to file it off later. I can just lay it on however until you realize I got to file through it later on. So, you know, we just want to feather it upwards. If, like, you know, place it wherever you need to place it and feather away the rest. So that way it doesn't cause so much stress later on when you are trying to file through all the excess color. Okay. So in a second here, we're going to move on to the ombre. And you're going to see why I was saying do the ombre before you do this blue. Because it's going to make a difference in the order of operations and it's going to cause you a less hassle, right? So I thought like, oh, I'm just about to just wipe my brush just a little bit and I'm just going to go right in. And sometimes it works, but this time it didn't. As soon as I grab this bead, watch me lay it down. I'm going to take it off right away because look at that. The bead is tinted, right? So I had to really like, okay, let me get rid of this paper towel. Let me go ahead and let my brush sit for a second. And I had to go ahead and get a new bead. Now, when you do this process, it is going to look like the bead is tinted in a way because you're trying to put this over such a dark color. It's gonna look like it's gonna look like it's not gonna blend, but I promise you, it will. Okay, it's not gonna be. I don't want to say the smoothest blend, but like you gotta let your bead sit there and you gotta let it set up so that way you can have very much opacity at the start, right? And kind of where I went wrong with this is I let it set for a little bit too long. Like I used a little bit too dry of a bead, which you already know. If I can save it, I'm gonna save it and I'm gonna use it because I don't like wasting product. But you can see like the blend is already, it's slightly starting, but it could have been a little bit more blended, right? And so now what you're seeing is I'm trying to tuck in those cuticles fast before it dries and the nail is just stuck looking stank. But within doing that, it kind of did cause a little bit more thickness than I wanted to, but in the end it all worked out. But just know this can happen to anybody, no matter your skill level. Yeah, okay, so just make sure everything is tucked really nicely. You really just want to make sure everything is looking nice and neat. So what I'm gonna go ahead now, see where I'm messing up. This is a light nude color. I'm trying to blend it out a little bit too quickly. What I need to do is let it set for a second, see how I'm blending it up, and then blend some of it down. But I really need to let it set for a second. Okay, because otherwise what I'm doing is I'm not only making the nail thicker, but like I'm not getting an even blend. So really what you should do, I just keep trying to work with it. But what you should do is move on to the other nail and then just go ahead and come back when you have a little bit more dryness, because sometimes your ombre is not blending. I've talked about this before, because it's too wet still. Like depending on the formula and the powder and, you know, just different things like that. There are some formulas, well, a good amount. If it is too wet, regardless, it's not gonna blend. So I just decided, like, let me just work on the opacity of the cuticle area, because I want that to like really show up very nude. And then I'll go ahead and work on the blending a little bit later. Right? So I kind of was like trying to focus on the cuticle area, building up the apex, and then I got to a point where it's like, okay, this is actually like kind of thick, but there ain't no going back now, right? So I just keep trying to work on it. And really what I should have did, I don't know why, I just like kept trying to work on it. And you'll see eventually I will get like a decent blend. But what's going to happen is now, because the apex area is so thick, I'm not going to be able to cap a lot. And now I'm stuck with a really thick apex area. I mean, yeah, it's gonna get fixed later, but look at the pointer in comparison to the other two fingers. Like, it's out of control, right? So with the pinky, you're gonna see I didn't let it set enough, and when I swipe, it's just gonna like completely kill the bead. It's gonna be very opaque. I'm pretty sure that's what's gonna happen, if I remember correctly. So yeah, I'm trying to tuck it in. I'm trying to like, ooh, let me let it set for a little bit. Oh, never mind. I guess not. Hold on a second. Let me see. Oh, okay, maybe that was on a different set, but I'm still, you know, trying to tuck it in, trying to do what I can, because I just want to make sure that everything is nice and tucked. Okay, but what ends up happening is this one ends up a little bit thicker too, and you know, sometimes it just happens, and sometimes you're gonna have to fix it and suck it up, and it is what it is. Your clients will understand, especially if they know your work is good for it and they trust your work. Okay. You can be frustrated, you can be disappointed, all of the above, but you got to keep pushing. Okay, sometimes I'll make a joke out of it and be like, woo, I can't wait to file, or like, woo, these are thick as hell, you know, just to make the client comfortable, because it's like, if you're but if you're joking about it, that might make it seem like, oh, what is funny, but your client got to trust you. Personally, when things are kind of going a little bit wrong, I tend to kind of joke about it and be like, you know, damn, I can't stand when this happens type thing. Just let them know, like, girl, I see it, you see it, like, it's fine. So the ombre ended up going way better on the other hand. I'm only showing one hand, but just to let you guys know what it really ended up happening on the other hand is that I did a little bit different of order of operations. And then I think I gave it a break. Like, when I noticed, hey, this is not really blending, I moved to the next finger to let it dry some, and then it blended very nicely. I didn't have to do as much filing, and yeah, that is that. So now you can see I let it dry some, and then I think I'm about to go and cap it. Yeah, and I really just capped the bottom half because the apex area is already so thick. I really just need to encapsulate that ombre, and then because the glitter is made out of a lot of clear, I don't need that much on top because the nail is kind of already built up. I just want to make sure I'm really protecting that ombre and giving it the little bit of extra strength that it needs in the nail. But you can see, like, look how thick that is. Okay, and it happens. And don't be ashamed. Don't be ashamed. Like, it can happen to anyone. That's what I'm saying. You got to be prepared for the unexpected, and that's like when you're deciding your this is random, but when you're deciding your times on your booking site or how far along to like book people, however you do that, you got to know that your time has to reflect anything. So like, yeah, it's okay to be running late sometimes, but like, you know, when there's sticky situations like this, or you see things are kind of like not going how they should, you got to know how to make up for time. You have to know how to move your hands faster. You just have to know that something going wrong during the set cannot be your continued excuse for why, you know, oh, I'm late for a client, oh, I'm this, oh, I'm that. You kind of have to figure out how to pull it together, or your day is going to get so behind. Okay. So that's not to like criticize anybody, you know, but I'm just saying, like, from my perspective of doing nails, I feel like you kind of have to figure out how to correct and put yourself back on course, so that way you can stay within your guidelines and your times and not be too late for the next client, okay? Because stuff is going to happen no matter what. That's why I'm showing you guys and leaving this in. So this ended up being the application of that hand. It doesn't look like it's too bad, but I mean, you guys saw there is like a thickness there to it, right? So I'm actually showing you guys filing of the other hand, and you can see this hand was not really as out of control. I left the filing in because I don't do too many Coffin videos, so I just really wanted you guys to be able to see my filing process a little bit when it comes to Coffin. Yeah, I mean, once you have your application to match the shape of your tips, the filing part is not going to be too hard. The only thing that can be hard is making sure you get up in them sidewalls, so that way you can make sure the nail is shaped basically a nice straight line all the way up from that cuticle area, and them sidewalls up there, the line follows all the way down. No matter what the shape is, you got to make sure it fits within the client's natural nail walls. Otherwise, the nails are going to look thick and bulky and chunky. If you cannot see the client's skin on both sides of the nail, you're doing something wrong, baby. I'm sorry. We all been there. You got to practice a little bit more so you can get your skills up, okay? That's why we take all types of clients, and we don't focus on just necessarily one type of nail bed, one type of shape, because you got to know how to do, you know, we got to know how to deal with all types of hands and nails and just, you know, things like that in general. So here I am. This is the point at which I like to get rid of that excess color. I don't do it with the e-file when I go around the cuticle area, because I just feel like this is much quicker. And anyways, I'm gonna have to like smooth over the nail anyways. I personally already have a smooth application, but I like to use the hand file to further smooth over the nails, because I just feel like you got more surface area to work with the file versus the e-file, which is like a small barrel. And I feel like if you don't pay attention, you can actually cause more dips and bumps than you mean to. So if that's something that you struggle with, of not being able to get a smooth result, I definitely recommend you just stick with the file to do all your smoothing over top. Okay, it might be a little more harsher on your hands, but when your shape and your application is, you know, pretty together, it takes way less time than what you think. I think this clip was 3 minutes long just for this one hand, so, you know, it ain't too bad, honestly. It's not. So I'm looking at all the nails as a whole, because I want to make sure the taper on this Coffin is very uniform. And I just really want to make sure that we got an overall shape and a togetherness. Now, here we go with the thumb. This is the last finger, and then I'm going to show you guys the finished shape. And of course, bling, because we put bling on these nails, and then we're done. We are done. You guys are like dope. Whoever is still rocking with me at 38 minutes in, ciao. Use something else, because it's amazing that I just really talked for 38 minutes straight. It didn't feel like it, but that's what it is. Like, ain't that crazy? Well, I know y'all probably like, well, that's why I left a motormouth comment down below, but I'm trying to educate you on the whole entire process, so that way nobody has any like open-ended questions. So here goes the shape, and I believe this is the hand that I did the application. So I showed you guys the hand of application. So you see everything worked out, came out good. But do you see how that blue French tip, how the color goes into the sidewalls and how natural and nice it looks versus just being at the very tip? That's what I was talking about. That's why we do that, because you can see it just makes a difference. So I highly recommend you trying it out. So for this nail design, most of the time I'm the one who just kind of, people are just like, I want bling, and I'm like, okay, let me give it to you. But this particular design, like I said, we had an inspo pic, and she really wanted something very similar to the inspo pic. So I looked at the picture and I'm like, okay, let me see what I got and let me see what I can do. So I'm running low on very small sizes. So the bling with the like the circle with the little things or whatever, this bling right here, technically it's supposed to be smaller stones, but I don't have enough smaller stones, like SS3s and 4s and 5s to be doing this. Okay, so we're using SS7s and 9s, really. And that's okay. Like, if you know how to layer bling, anything will look good, you know? So, that's what we're doing. That is what we're doing. So, yeah, I'm hoping to do some more like freestyles and things soon, or junk sets or something. I'm hoping to do my nails tomorrow. Tomorrow is Cinco de Mayo, and I'm having some family over. Like I said, I got family in town and stuff. And you know, I don't know. I've been like pushing off doing my nails for so long that I'm just like, it's time. I need to pop out. I think I'm gonna do a nice long square. I'm debating if I want to do 1 tip or 2 tips, you know, like double tip a little bit, but we're gonna see, because I'm also supposed to like babysit my baby cousin tomorrow morning at 8:30 in the morning. But then that's cool, because then I'm only like 15 minutes away from my shop, from my suite, so I could just go early in the morning at like 10 a.m., knock my nails out, boom, bam. Okay, what do you guys think I'm gonna do for my nails? Leave me a comment below thinking, hey boo, what you gonna do for your nails? Let me know. What are you about to do on your nails? That's what I want to know. Let me know below. I like when you guys comment. It makes me feel like I'm talking to y'all, because even though I be doing these voiceovers, I'm talking to y'all, but I'm also talking to myself. Like, I don't know. So yeah, you see how I just knocked that circle out? It is a nice balance when you are able to find a very symmetrical thing like that. That's why I move from like one side to the other side. I go back and forth so I can mirror it, and that's how you get symmetrical looking bling. Just a tip for you there. All right, for those struggling, you don't have to do like one whole half and then the other half. Just bounce back and forth so you can just reflect and you can see like, okay, this is about the right size, that's about the right size, and you just get it done. So honestly, this is pretty much the end of the video. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it was long. This one's even longer than the last one, but I'm hoping that it is helping to make up for the fact that I'm slacking this week. But I kind of needed a little bit of a break just for my own personal self to relax, because I don't really do that too often. But yeah, I'm trying to make up for the fact that I've been a little like with the videos, and I apologize for that. I'm just tired. My allergies have been killing me like really crazy and things like that. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Okay, pretty gang, what's good, what's good. And you guys already know I do have a coupon code for you. It's always going to be in the description box below. 50% off of, I don't know if it's off of the whole site or off the gel polishes. I would say try it because it don't expire. Off of Nail Reserve. They are formerly known as Nail Addicts, but they changed their website to Nail Reserve. The link to their website as well as my coupon code is in the description box below. Y'all get 50% off and I make 10%. So I mean, it's a win-win for everybody, period. And other than that, I really hope you guys like this look. I really enjoyed the final outcome of it, and she was so excited. She showed me the dress, and everything just gonna look so pretty. I love doing prom nails, birthday nails, all that. And of course, here is the final look. Once again, like, everything came together. The ombres worked out, everything worked out. And of course, I will see you guys in the next video.